Kalki ki next.
Yeah, and you can also wear it on Halloween night.
Hi everyone, today we are in Bombay at Wol3D India Limited. This is one of the most interesting companies that we are interviewing because one, they have been to Shark Tank India season 2. Second, they got the funding from Aman Gupta. Third, they made the IPO debut on exchanges in just 2 years of that episode getting aired. The company is into 3D printing, also called as additive manufacturing. So, if I tell you some stats, India contributes only 0.3% to the global 3D printing industry, but government aims to take this number to 5%. We have with us Rahul Chandalia to discuss everything about this industry and where does he see this company going. Thank you for joining us today, sir.
Thanks, Anchal.
So, before starting the episode, I would like you to describe what all is there. You are wearing very cool shoes that are very Gen Z. So, tell us everything about it.
So basically, 3D printing tech is, it's a very more of a new technology where it's more of additive manufacturing. Anything can be created. Whatever you dream can be made into materialistic item. So what you see around is, like suppose these roses are 3D printed. Example, these are different industry application products that can be 3D printed. The shoes that I'm wearing, the entire shoes is, it's printed in a flexible material, so it is a wearable product. Similarly, anything and everything can be 3D printed, whether it's for personal use, whether it's for companies, whether it is for product manufacturing.
So, how did you actually come into this industry? If I look at your background, you were working in purchase and sales department of a company.
Yeah.
So, how did you get to start your own business? And because we are seeing a wave of entrepreneurship right now, but you started this business like 7-8 years ago. So, what was it like back then?
So, there's always, you have a kida in yourself to do something, create a name for yourself. I always had the thing that why not make a name for myself?
Okay.
And before this, 7 years back, I was working with my dad in a textile business where I used to take the procurement and, sales. And so what happened is that I and my dad had a discussion. He's very open to talking. So we had a discussion that maybe the textile business may not go longer.
Okay.
Although we were the master distributors of Indian brands like Aditya Birla,
So
Century
you were
Rayon.
in family business only.
Yeah, I
before
was in
that.
family
Okay.
business only, and I felt that trading business is not what I look at becoming the future. And I did my masters in finance and marketing. I've done my BMS before that, so a lot of study. So
Traditional career roles.
yeah. So then you feel like if I've done so much, I mean, I have that zest to maybe get something bigger. So I was finding opportunities, and as you know, it's not very easy to find a business opportunity and start something and maybe make it bigger also.
Yeah.
So I and my partner, Mr. Pradeep Jain, he's the CTO of the company. So we thought, let's visit exhibitions.
Okay.
And I think exhibition is the best place to, find opportunities for business. So we went to an exhibition in Mumbai itself, and we both went to the exhibition, and the first stall was a 3D printer. And I have traveled a lot. I've traveled more than maybe 30 countries.
Wow.
And I never saw a 3D printer in 2016-17, I'm talking. I felt like, where does this technology come from? And I always assumed that manufacturing is one machine can make one output. But the 3D printer that we saw was an industrial grade, starting at a price range of 10-12 lakhs.
Okay.
And we felt like this machine is making a horse, it is making a product, it is making a gifting. Everything can be made out of the machine. So I and my partner discussed that why not we get this technology in India, make it affordable and available, and so that everybody can use this tech for innovation.
Okay.
So that's how the entire dream of starting this company started in 2016.
So you were the pioneers of 3D printers and 3D printing in India. Back then there were no companies doing something like this.
So just to give you a background of 3D printing technology,
Okay.
the 3D printing technology started in about 1980s. In India, 3D printing is there since 1995-2000. But 3D printing in India is all about industrial 3D printing.
Okay.
Where the machines come for a minimum of 1 crore, 2 crores, goes up to 10 crores, where machines are used for metal 3D printing or construction 3D printing, bigger ones. So when we came in the business, there was nothing like a consumer 3D printing.
Okay.
Nothing like you and me can buy a 3D printer and do innovation.
Okay.
So we are the category creator. When we started, we were never a pioneer, but when we started, we always had a dream to become the biggest in the industry in India. And like you say, the more you manifest, the more you think, the more you repeat,
Yeah.
is what you become.
Yes.
So then we had a repetition of yes, we'll become big, we'll become big, and now we are here, where from a category creation to becoming a leadership in the 3D printing tech.
Oh wow, that is great, sir. Finally coming to your Shark Tank experience. So you appeared on Shark Tank season 2. So how was your experience? Because this is the first time I am getting a chance to interview someone who has been to that show. So how is the feeling in the tank? How much time do they give you to negotiate, analyze the deal? The episode airs only for 20 to 25 minutes, one deal.
Yeah.
But actually, what is the time?
So I'll tell you, Shark Tank is a very exciting journey that we went through. So in a Shark Tank, there are about 4 stages that we go through.
Okay.
The first stage is, send an application that you are interested. You send your company details in basic. After you're shortlisted, the second will go where you send more detailed financials, more about the business model, what are you doing, and etc. So I never knew that we'll come on Shark Tank, right? So I applied the first stage, we went through it. We applied for the second stage, we went through it. So then the excitement levels increase. There's something exciting happening. The third level is a live interview, same like the actual Shark Tank. But this third stage goes through where all the 5 people who are sitting in the Shark table, they are the team members of the Sony, or the TV. So they are the ones who will interview you like the real Shark Tank.
Okay.
So the third stage is again, you need to put your showbiz in place. You need to make sure your display, your
same grill. You have to go through
same
the
grill.
same grill.
Not same grill, but the degree of the grill will be lower.
Okay.
Because they are team members, so they ask little easy question for us to answer. But after the third stage, when we got approval that we are coming for the fourth, first of all, we don't know what to do, because we didn't have a circle of anybody into Shark Tank. So for me, season 2 means almost we were the first mover to be in my entire circle. So we didn't know how to prepare. And so the Shark Tank that happens, the live episode that you see, is for 20-25 minutes. But generally people are interviewed from 1 hour to 3 hours.
Wow.
And we were the lucky or unlucky ones who did 2.5 hours of drilling inside, where so basically you have to be there for 2 days in the Shark Tank. And we were there in the Mumbai place of their studio, where the entire thing is that you need to practice and you need to know what you're going to say. So they just make sure that you know your language right, you know your content right, you know your financials right, and they ask you to see the earlier episodes of Shark Tank, so that you know what the questions your sharks are generally expecting out of you. So and it's always a first time coming on TV kind of feel, okay, what will happen, what are the questions will come. And generally when you are in a queue, on the first day when we went, there were 5 or 6 episodes getting, people are there. So everybody comes out, they say this happened, then we're like, oh, this will happen with us tomorrow. So there is an anxiety that happens.
Yes.
And also, like for us, studio is not something that we go every day. It's not an experience that we do. So this studio experience was something where everything is a black kind of curtain, where everything is black.
Yeah.
And you go to every room and you discuss. And then on the final day, the second day was morning, we started the Shark Tank interview, or the Shark Tank, the entire thing. So we were the first one to enter, and we were 4 of us who went. You get goosebumps, what will happen. And somewhere you feel that the entire Shark Tank is more a validation. Validation of what you are doing is correct, or validation what you are doing is actually a working business model. So that validation is also something that you're scared of, you know, because you feel, oh, I put 5-6 years of my life, and all of a sudden the sharks say that this is not okay.
Yeah.
And if they say this is not okay, you feel like, what did I do for 6 years then? So there is a fight in your mind about validation, fight about your mind of what you have done. Is it correct? Is it the right way? So we started at about 9:30, the entire session. We saw all the 5 sharks for the first time live. Okay, wow, they're sitting there. And so the journey reaching till the tank was very anxiety, and a lot of things that you are, and also what I realized is that when we went into Shark Tank, there was a lot of clear picture about the brand to us. What happens is that, like when you have an exam, you are more prepared a day before. You know everything about the subject, and you try to get everything known, right? Similarly, on the day when we were supposed to go, before that we had an in-depth knowledge of what we are doing,
Yeah.
where are we reaching, what are the financial, why expenses,
And
why profit.
sometimes sharks ask you a question and you have an epiphany कि oh shit ये भी तो पता होना चाहिए था,
हाँ,
क्यों नहीं पता ये हमें?
यस तो ये क्या होता है जब हम शार्क टैंक हमारे लिए टेस्ट हो गई थी कि क्या हमें सब पता है कि हमारा बिजनेस क्या हो रहा है, कि हम खाली बिजनेस ही कर रहे हैं.
हाँ.
So it became a very good eye opener for us also. And also when we went into the Shark Tank, that 2.5 hours, after that when we came out, we realized there is so much of opportunities that the tank has told us that you can do this. So when we came back, for 1.5, 2 years, we worked on those opportunities to make the market bigger. So it's an experience that 2.5 hours, like Achal, like, you are in a shooting zone where you are the target. You are standing for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
There are 5 sharks who are,
Just
left, right, and center. They are putting
bombarding you
questions.
with the questions, yeah.
And those questions are like you feel, didn't I answer this to him and he's asking the same question in another way,
Yeah.
So, you are somewhere confused of, isn't the same answer I gave now again I have to give it in a different tone? And also, so there was a funny moment that happened with us inside. When people are bombarding with, a lot of number of questions, you are so tensed and you have to answer everything. And everything is live. There's nothing that they tell us or prepare that, Anupam is going to ask you this, or, Piyush is going to ask you this. It's random questions coming in. And there was a time when all 4 of us standing, me and the 3 promoters, and maybe Piyush asked me a question. After that, Anupam asked me a question. After that, Aman asked me a question. So before, like while answering, I took the reverse order. So I first answered to Aman. So then Anupam, cut me in the middle that Rahul, I think the first question is asked by Piyush. So you need to first answer Piyush, me, and then Aman. And so I asked my colleague on the side that, what was the question Piyush asked? Because you're blank. I mean, you don't know what's happening. And then I had to ask them, okay, sir, can you tell me what is the question that you asked?
And they would take that on their ego, no?
I don't know about taking them on the ego, but see, you yourself are blank. And you are there in there for the first time. So you don't know whether what's happening. And see, ego.
And it's PR and TRP when the show airs.
Yeah.
You are like, kahin wo wala party na air kar de when you're not answering the question correctly.
So Shark Tank, I think, creates a lot of anxiety and a FOMO kind of feeling. And anxiety, why I'm saying is that, okay, we went to the tank, we shooted a 2.5 hour episode, and the episode is going to be 25 minutes. First of all, we don't know whether we're going to get air or no. First is we are a blank mode. They tell us 3 days prior that you are going to get aired.
Wow.
That means we have to prepare for 6 months of no surety whether we're getting air or not air. We get to know 3 days prior you are air. And when you get to know you are air, you are thinking, are they going to roast you in the video? Or are they going to do good in the video? Because 2.5 hours is everything. They are like, asking you every question that's possible. So we were so scared that, okay, we have got a deal. So we were positive that whatever happens inside, finally we came out with a deal. So we are happy that, we have validation, product is perfect, industry acceptance, as well as the shark have an acceptance to it. So we were like, what will be aired? We don't know. And then we had done a live session for about 300 people, all our guests, family, friends. So we are on Shark Tank.
And it's all TRP because I remember when I think Piyush asked you that question, like, what is your focus? When you were about to get a deal from Piyush as well as Aman. So Piyush offered you a deal thinking you might have a focus to, you might want to focus on filaments in the future, but Aman wanted to focus on the pen segment. So they had a conflict and they criticized you guys that you guys did not have a focus. So they could have put that to on their system too, right? So how did you take that criticism?
So what happened is that, best is when they edited, it was a 5-second thing. Like as a viewer, you saw only the 5 second where Piyush was going to say something, but Piyush said, then I'm not in, let Aman give you the deal. So in the airing, it was 5 to 15 seconds of that discussion. But in live, we had a 15-20 minute discussion.
As a viewer, I thought Piyush did not even give you time to think about the deal.
Yeah.
And he just cut you like, okay, I am not giving you the deal because you haven't made up your mind
So
yet.
what is happening in that 15-20 minutes, instead of we talking, Piyush and Aman were talking to each other.
Yeah.
And Aman was saying that, create a brand. Brand is important. Piyush was saying filament manufacturing is important. So they were doing internal discussion. In their internal discussion, they come with a conclusion. No, Aman, you do one thing. You only create a brand. I don't think my thought, your thought is same for
Aligns.
this product brand. So then we were like, we said in the tank also that we are creating an ecosystem. Ecosystem doesn't mean only one category of product. Ecosystem means you are creating different verticals. Every vertical has some revenue model to it. So even Piyush, you can come in, even Aman, you can come in. But then because of their internal discussion that happened, they decided that, okay, Aman, you go ahead with the creating a brand. So that's how it happened.
So Aman finally offered you a deal.
Yes.
And did Aman's deal actually go through post due diligence? Because we have heard a lot of a lot of companies do not get the final funding because of post due diligence process. So how was it for you?
So I think we were lucky. Aman's team was very nice to us. They were coordinating in a very nice way. They were also following up with the documents. We were also in touch with them. But I felt that we were undervalued in the tank. Okay. But when you have a deal, you generally end up saying that it's okay. We accept it. But when we went out and over there, we get about not more than even 15-20 seconds to decide whether you take the deal or you don't take the deal.
Okay,
so,
they don't give you the time to analyze and then negotiate.
Nothing. Okay. So what they do is that they say, okay, this is my final offer. You have 10 seconds to go out. 10 seconds to go out. So you generally see people are going out. They do a they come together and they say, oh, what to do? And then we have to come in. So we have about 15-20 seconds. In 15-20 seconds, what will I decide?
Exactly.
Right? So in 15-20 seconds, we decided, let's take the deal. Because maybe Aman coming on board will create a lot of value for us. So we took the deal. And then after that, the due diligence, we felt that we are undervalued. And I don't think I want to give my equity at a lower stake. And also the participation of Aman and his team will be just for 2%. So it will not be much of his own role in the business. So we waited for the company to go air. Then after the company went on air, we mutually decided that we are not keen in taking the deal ahead.
Got it. Okay. So sir, I had a very general question from a business perspective. I have seen a lot of founders that come on Shark Tank India take the debt part of it at 12% interest. So since your company had good financials, good operating margins, good profit after tax, why would a promoter take debt at 12% when he can get it at 9.5% easily in the markets?
So what
is the thought process behind it?
So what happens is in the Shark Tank, one of the most important part is if you ask for a specific funding, the sharks have to give you that.
Okay.
Suppose we ask for 1.5 crore for a 1% equity. So the sharks have to give me 1.5 crore. Whether they give me debt or equity is what we decide. So maybe the sharks decided that, okay, we want to give 2%, 80 lakhs. So Aman would be interested in my company, but he wants to have an exposure of only 80 lakhs as a business.
So absolute amount has to be same. Percentages can change.
Percentage can change. And also 80 lakhs is something he will give for sure. 70 lakhs is up to the company whether I want debt or not.
Okay.
But they have to meet the 1.5 crore of requirement of mine.
Got it.
Otherwise, what happens is, see, when you ask for funding, you require a funding because your application is that. If I get lower than the fund, there's no point. I'll not be able to reach my business goal. So hence you ask a certain percentage or a certain value.
Okay.
So that's the reason they give you debt, but it's the company promoter that decides.
So that was very good to know about your Shark Tank experience.
Thank you.
So coming to your company, so if I can list, you have 4 segments: magic pens, printers, prototype services, and filaments, right? And you are more focused towards printing as well as filament. So tell us about it.
So just to tell you, so we are into 4 categories that you said. It's more a product that you're talking about.
Okay.
We are into 4 categories. One of the categories is hardware. Hardware basically consists of the 3D pens and the 3D printers. One is consumables. Consumables means what are the products needed as a support to the hardware.
Okay.
That consists of my filaments, consists of my resins, consists of my spare parts. That parts of the consumables. Third is prototyping services. Prototyping is basically people who don't buy a machine. They can basically go into designing or getting product made. Prototyping is also about making end products for the final customers,
Okay.
making end products for the consumers. So that is the prototyping and the design service. Last is, training, installation, and other revenues that we can earn as a byproduct of the first three.
Okay.
So these are the four segments of business that we are doing right now in the 3D printing tech.
What was the first product that you introduced?
So that was also a journey for us. So when we introduced 3D printers in the year 2016-17, first of all, nobody knew what's a 3D printer. The moment we tell somebody that this is a 3D printer, or we starting a 3D printing company, they used to say, "Oh, paper ke upar emboss," because that is normal to think that अच्छा 3D printing मतलब पेपर पे एम्बॉस करते हो क्या, आप ब्रोशर बनाते हो क्या, आप विजिटिंग कार्ड के ऊपर मेरा लोगो एम्बॉस कर सकते हो क्या. So we used to get those inquiries because people didn't know 3D printing. So the first clients that we got was it was an animation company which used to teach 3D design and related activities. So we thought that maybe a 3D printer becomes a value addition to his business.
Okay.
What he's showing on computer, he can show it in live.
Okay.
So students can learn one step ahead in their learning curve. So our first customer was an animation company whom we sold the first 6 3D printers. That's like finding your first customer. Oh yeah, this market is there.
So, sir, if I talk about printers, the price range of these printers is between.
So we started about 15,000. So because we are a consumer level and we want to make it affordable. I can't say just a consumer level because the machines are also used for industrial grades.
Okay.
But we wanted to be pocket friendly.
Okay.
So my machine starts at 15,000 and then the machine can go up to 30 lakhs.
So from printers worth 30 lakhs to introducing pen that is just like rupees 800, what was your thought process? Because the target audience is completely different for what printers is and then what is for pens.
So our focus has always been, 3D printing is a category. It's an industry. But our focus is STEM education, science, technology, engineering, math.
Okay.
So STEM education is for everything. It can be corporate, it can be for students, it can be for universities, it can be for government. Everything is STEM education. So the reason why we have a price range of a pen to a printer, our dream as a brand is to have a 3D printer at every home.
Okay.
So with having that mindset that we want to be in every household, we need to have product ranges and we need to have products which can be easy to buy for anybody.
Okay.
So hence we went from a 15,000 3D printer starting to a 3D pen that is 800. So something like a kid of 6 years can just buy it. So 3D printer is something that 10 years old buy it. So when we went to a 3D pen, my target audience increased from a 10-year and above to 6-year and above.
Got it.
So you are increasing your target base and you increasing.
So you're creating an ecosystem just like Apple did few years ago.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So basically you get them used to one thing and then you get related products to get used to more things.
So coming to a printer segment only, printers product, do you manufacture your own printers or do you supply for other brands?
So what we do is that, hardware, like I said, we do 3D printers. In hardware, we have 3D printers, laser engravers, and we also have 3D scanners. So what we have done is that there are some international brands which are among the top 5 manufacturers in the world.
Okay.
So those international brands, we are the partners for their India market.
Okay.
So we are exclusive for certain products of their brand, and we do selling of those products as per the brand. But every product that we sell is co-branded.
Okay.
So every product that you buy of ours in 3D printing tech, it comes with the brand of that company along with our logo. So our logo can be on the printer, it can be on the display screen, it depends. But everything is co-branded. But other than this, we also have our own range of 3D printers, which we do through an OEM process.
Okay.
Where it's our specification, our model and our design. It is just manufactured outside and we just get it here.
So just like global companies or international standards, why are not many Indian companies doing their printer manufacturing? So why do we not have printer manufacturers in India?
So understand one thing, 3D printing requires a lot of bulk manufacturing. First of all, you need to have the big market for manufacturing that. India is in the growing stage right now. Globally, India is in the 0.5% of the global 3D printing industry, which the government has said they want to become the 5% now. So as the industry grows, manufacturing becomes viable.
Okay.
Hence, we went into manufacturing only the raw material. Okay. So the filament, we have our own manufacturing because we saw the market coming in, and I feel it's the right time which you need to enter the right manufacturing.
Okay.
If you do before the market, you may not survive. So for us, we felt that 3D printing, machine manufacturing is too early right now because the technology changes very fast. So it's better to partner with some international brand. Get in, maybe one of the future can be get into an MOU, get their manufacturing set up in India with the
So
entire
you'll be
business.
using their technology,
Yes.
manufacturing your own, and that plan is maybe 5-6 years down
Yeah,
the
in the
line.
long term, so that we can become an export oriented company also, along with local manufacturing catering to the India market.
Got it. So, and coming to filaments, Piyush mentioned that there are not many players doing filaments in India, despite the fact that this technology is 10 to 15 years old. Why is that?
So see, filament also needs some technical know-how.
Okay.
It is not something that you put investment and just start
What is the
making.
raw material that goes into manufacturing
So
these
for filament,
filaments?
we basically use something called as PLA.
Okay.
PLA full form is polylactic acid. It is made out of cornstarch. So
Okay.
it is 100% recyclable plastic.
Okay.
So we use this raw material. The pallets are imported. They come from Thailand, Indonesia, US. And then we do the entire manufacturing where we make it into a wire form.
Okay.
So from pallet to the wire is a lot of technical know-how. Because this wire is going to be used in a 3D printer at a certain temperature to make the product.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of technical know-how that you need. So
The
hence
storage and all is very
storage is
difficult.
there, moisture is very critical, breakage is in the material. So a lot of things that you need to analyze. Hence the number of players are limited. And hence right now we have 2 manufacturing line for the filament business.
Okay.
Maybe in the future as we are growing, we may increase it to 5 or 10 so that we meet the export or make the market bigger.
So, but right now your capacity utilization in one of the lines is just 20 to 25%.
So it was 20 to 25. Right now we are about 46%. I think 46 or 54% is capacity utilization. Or also what we are doing is that we are doing only one shift in the day. So when we talk about capacity, it's 2-time shift. We are doing 1-time shift because we feel that the machine gives you more value when you do it one time. As the market is increasing, we may increase the shift timings.
So so there are 3 types of filaments, right? SLS, FDA, and SLM. So can you tell the difference and also show the products?
So basically, they are not filaments; they are technologies.
Okay.
So in 3D printing, I'll tell you, in 3D printing there are various technologies. So there is FDM, SLA, DLP. There is SLS, metal printing, construction 3D printing. So these are different technologies where 3D printing is used.
Okay.
We as a company, in-house, we have 2 or 3 technologies. We have FDM, we have DLP, and we have SLA. These 3 technologies, we use it in-house and we sell these technologies.
Okay.
But the other technologies, that is SLS or metal printing, concrete 3D printing, they are all industrial application and industrial 3D printers which come from 1-2 crores to maybe 10-12 crores. So we don't have those technologies in-house, but in order as a prototyping services, we do it from outside. So just to give an idea, like suppose if I'm doing a technology called as FDM. So FDM is basically fuse deposition modeling, in which a filament is melted layer by layer, and then the product is made. So this 3D printing is actually also called as additive manufacturing.
Yeah.
So I feel additive manufacturing is a more justified name than 3D printing, because traditionally India is all about subtractive manufacturing.
Yeah.
It's about laser engravers, it's about cutters, it's about bigger products being cut to smaller things. So additive manufacturing is the part of the industry 4.0, which is layer by layer addition.
Okay.
So there are different technologies, like I said. So FDM is something which will have a 0.2 mm of accuracy. It is a filament getting melted layer by layer. The filament gets added.
So these all are technologies.
Technology. So FDM will be little less precision, but cheaper mode and faster. Similarly, you have other technologies like suppose I look at resin technology. Resin is also called as SLA or maybe DLP. So resin technologies have finer detailing. It is a much smoother product. If you see, it is much smoother and it looks like an end product itself.
Yeah.
So such products are applications like you see, this is for the jewelry industry.
Yeah.
So the entire jewelry industry is now focusing on 3D printing as a concept. What you have it in hand is basically for the dental application.
Yeah.
So you see the entire, the dental industry. You talk about the aligners, you talk about these, all the braces and everything come in. 3D printing is a base of that.
Okay.
So we have applications of 3D printing in these medical industries where they use the SLA or the DLP, which is the liquid resin technology.
Okay.
So, and there is something called as SLS, like you asked. So SLS is something which is like a powder-based technology.
Okay.
So in which a powder is there, which has a laser. The laser will sinter it. It means it will solidify layer by layer and make it a product. So you can see how finer this product is being made, where traditional manufacturing can never create this product.
And it will take a lot of time for them to manufacture
yes.
this.
And additive manufacturing is time consuming, innovation at a very faster pace. Hence, you see in the last 5 years, you see trend changes very fast. From product making to innovation to new. I mean, you see every day some new product has been created. So 3D printing creates a lot of base for that. So there are different technologies, and every technology has its own application and its own use.
So, sir, I was reading about this industry. I think Imagarium is the first company that started using 3D printing in industrial application in 2009. So I want to know if they are your competitors, or do you supply filaments and other materials to them?
Okay, so there are various companies in India.
Okay.
Maybe you were talking about is one of the company like that.
Okay.
So there are various companies in India, but there are companies which started in 2001 also, 2002 also. But those companies are all industrial 3D printing.
Okay.
So that Imaginarium is also like an industrial 3D printing company which is focusing more on jewelry or product making. So they are not my competitors, but we supply them the machines which they sell to the education or to the companies which they want. So we are, as a company, we not only cater to B2C as a segment, we have a very big B2B market where all these 3D printing companies that you find in India, in different pockets of India, we are their backend where they buy the machine from us and they cater to their customers with a machine.
Got it. So this leads me to another question. Let's say I am a young entrepreneur and I plan to open my own drone manufacturing company. So before launching the final product, I want to build a prototype of the drone. So I'll come to you. You will do that prototype service for me, right? So why would me or some other company go and buy the printer rather than just taking the prototype service?
So there are various things to it. First of all, let me clear the air that 3D printing is only for prototype. Suppose if you are a drone manufacturing company, you have 100 pieces of order of drone, not necessary you will go into mold making. You may want to make the 100 drones using 3D printing itself.
Oh.
So 3D printing can itself make the end product which can be used as a final product for drone. Like the body, the structure, all that can be 3D printed where you add the electronic components and which you use as an end product. So why you will, why would you want 3D printing to be used and why not traditional? Mold is a very expensive affair. Every mold that you make may cost you 5 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees. A drone may have 10 parts, 20 parts, 30 parts. So you can't make every part as a mold and then get into making. What if the project doesn't work for you? So 3D printing makes it easy for you. Second question of why somebody will buy a 3D printer. Suppose you are a drone manufacturer, right? A drone manufacturer has its own designs.
Okay.
So when you made a drone, it's not that you thought first day and you get the idea and it's done made. You have 10 designs. 10 designs will keep working, test and trial. Having a 3D printer will make your life much easy. Because suppose you made a design today, you give it for printing, it will be printed within 6 hours, 12 hours.
Okay.
You get the product in hand, you get a judgment, this is not right. Again, next day you start printing, again you make it final. So having an in-house printer will make your life easy. It makes your designing easy, it makes your manufacturing easy, it makes your decision making easy.
Okay. So, but where do you see more value addition in out of all these 4 segments, like filaments, pens, printers, or prototype services?
So what I feel is that 3D printer as a category is growing a lot. Because now people want to buy 3D printers. Some people buy to play with it. Some people are buying for innovation. Some people are buying to understand different materials.
You have supplied to schools too, right?
Yeah, we have supplied to more than 4,000 schools in the last 3 to 4 years.
Private or government schools?
Mostly a government. It's about, there was a program by the government. So we supplied in that. So
and you are the only company supplying 3D printers to government schools?
No, right? So we don't supply directly. Like we have a very good platform of B2B channel where there are people who work with government schools and we supply them. Like I said, our backend is very strong. So we are kind of the backend to most of the companies in India who buys a 3D printer. So for that, our backend is very strong in that. And so, 3D printers are going through schools, going to universities. And these, people are buying it. They buy for end users. They make whatever they like. They make end products. So there are various applications that goes to this 3D printing.
So, sir, tomorrow if I start my own company, is there stickiness in this business on the tank? Sorry, in the tank, you said that you have clients like Ola, ISRO, and you are regularly supplying filaments to these companies, right? So, if tomorrow I start my own company, what would differentiate you from me?
So see,
If I play on cost and maybe offer them filament at a lower rate, they would instantly switch to some other manufacturer, right?
So I'll tell you one thing. It's not only the product that sells. It's about the start to end solution that we do.
Okay.
So we are basically creating an ecosystem of 3D printing technology. Ecosystem means from the day a person comes. So like to tell you, we have about right now we have 4 experience centers across India.
Okay.
Hyderabad, Bangalore, Delhi, and Mumbai. And we are creating more number of experience centers in the coming time. So we basically feel that a person should experience the technology automatically. After experience is where they buy it. So one of the niche or one of the reason why we are growing so fast is because the distribution network is very strong. Having a distribution network itself is a own equity that you're creating for yourself. So because of 4 experience centers, and right now we are also opening 6 more experience centers. So maybe coming up by March will be about 10 experience centers which are coming up. So these experience centers basically cater to every state. Each state has one experience center catering to a very bigger market.
Okay.
So one of the niche is having those experience centers and having the direct customer interface with a very strong distribution model.
Okay.
Secondly is that product supply is one part of the business. Second part of the business is how do you cater to the after sales support? How do you cater to the training? How do you cater to the education part of the business? Not see, this is a very new industry that we have created as a category creator. So we don't get qualified or skilled team members for this.
Okay.
But over the past 6-7 years, we have created a superb team of skilled laborers or skilled workers or skilled team members who have a know-how of every machine that we sell. So when a person comes to us, he's not only buying a machine, he's buying an experience from us. From how to install, how to use it, what are opportunities of printing, what are business models
Same
he can
again,
create.
ecosystem.
So we are giving him a complete package of with the machine, sir, you can make these 10 products, you can start a business of yourself. Sir, if you want a product, you want to make something of yourself, you tell us, we will design for you.
Okay.
So you can print in a machine. So it's not only the machine, it's about creating an ecosystem and also making sure we are available to them. So hence, now a customer sitting in maybe Delhi, he doesn't have to come to Bombay office to buy something. He can go to a Delhi office nearer, go to the experience center and look at something and just take the experience of it.
So, sir, are these experience centers ROI positive?
Yeah, so all experience centers come with only positive. So we work with a very simple strategy that we see the overall sales that happens in the company.
Okay.
Based on the pin code is what we decide which are the locations that we should come up with an experience center.
Okay.
Because the higher number of pin codes of that specific state is what will decide whether should we enter that state as an experience center. So hence we are trying to go state wise where we have divided our the country into 29 states, 7 union territories. So we are basically giving ourselves some numbers of these are the first top 10, then next 10, then 10. So accordingly, based on the sales in those states, we are going with an experience center so that we can leverage our existing sales to double and triple. So I always believe in having a positive ROI. I don't believe in burning money. I always feel that whatever you do in business, you should have a positive part to it.
True.
Then only it makes sense for the business. Business sense should make that way. So all our offices are going in a profit, no problem. Everywhere we are giving skill labor where every experience center has a space where a person can experience different kind of 3D printers. Every office will have a dedicated after sales support where there will be a person, 2 person who will take care of training, installation, post buying experience. There will be people who will take care of your sales journey.
Got it.
So it's not just a shop that you come to, it's a place that you experience. So I feel 3D printing is like the industry of a computer or a mobile where you just don't buy it because it's there. You go experience like a mobile phone, different machines. Then you feel, okay, this machine suits me. Or maybe the salesperson over there educates you with what is your use. Based on the use is what we give the machine.
Got it.
So it makes your experience much better.
Yes, got it.
Yeah.
So, sir, when I was going through your experience center, there are a lot of toys here, and government has recently announced that they are focusing more on toy production, leather production. So how are you as a company going to benefit from it?
So, in the recent budget, government has put a lot of focus on making in India toys.
Hmm.
Toy is a very big industry that's happening. So, what I see across the world, the trend is that people are putting up 3D printing farms. What is 3D printing farm is 3D printing where batch production can be made, where there are more than 500, more than 50, 100, 500, 1,000 printers which start manufacturing at the same time.
Oh, wow.
So it is completely additive manufacturing printing farms, which are called as a manufacturing hub. In our industry, we call it as a 3D printing farm.
Okay.
So these farms are basically making toys as an end product. So I have personally, been to China where there is a farm of 3,000 printers,
Wow.
and the company only manufactures the egg and the dragon. So this year China is about egg and dragon. That company day and night only egg and the dragon. So egg and a dragon is a part of the toy industry. So I feel the same trend will come to India, where people will start manufacturing based on batch.
Okay.
Suppose if I want to manufacture a toy or maybe a gaming product, I don't have to go into mold and making. I can just go into 3D printing. If I want 100 pieces, 200 pieces, the future of manufacturing is on-demand manufacturing.
Got
3D printer is the tool for on-demand. So toy industry is what I also as a product is focusing. Maybe we also may come up with something which caters to toy industry as an end product.
So, but the raw material or whatever you use in making these toys is plastic, right? But parents are very paranoid about giving plastic-based toys to these to their kids. So, if the government comes with a ban tomorrow, is it gonna impact you?
So, see, when we say about plastic, those are one-time use plastic, where the
Okay.
ban comes in. We are using a recyclable plastic called as PLA.
Okay.
So PLA is not harmful as you compare to the one-time plastic. It can be reusable also. It can be, again, grinded and made into a raw material again. So we are using a plastic which can be used regularly, oftenly. Also, if you see the entire Maharashtra ban that came in, they started using straws which are made out of PLA
Paper.
granules.
Okay, granules.
If you see, it's written PLA composites. So all the straw, the plates, the glasses, which looks like plastic, but they are made out of PLA. So they
It's
have
biodegradable.
yeah, so they have written PLA composite, which is the application to it.
Okay.
Same we are using for making products.
Okay.
And also, like I said, toy industry we can also get into cater into products like we have laser engraving machines. Today, a lot of kits are made out of laser engravers. So maybe laser engravers can also be one of the industry that can help in growing the toy industry. So for the toy industry, we have two products very strong: 3D printers and also the laser engravers.
Got it, sir. Sir, you stated a fact in the interview that India contributes only 0.3% to global additive manufacturing industry, whereas the government is focusing to take this number to 5%. So, first question, why is there such a parity between a nation like India and a developed nation like America or Japan, which is using additive manufacturing like anything in every industry? Why is there a parity?
So parity comes because of few points. One is how much government is included or a part of the growth of the industry. Parity also comes because of education. In India, 3D printing is not as an educated product. It's not being explained to people how the benefits are, what the growth is. But for the past 1 or 2 years, we see government being very aggressive about 3D printing industry. And I feel when government becomes your partner to promote the industry, automatically the industry goes to another level. So if you see in the recent budget, the reason why the government is focusing from becoming a 0.5% global 3D printing industry in India to a 5%, to cater to the difference, the government has come up with initiatives like, if you see, they have come up with an initiative called as Atal Tinkering Labs.
Yeah.
Where the government has come in the budget that in the next 5 years, they're looking to introduce 50,000 schools across India where they will create innovation labs. Innovation labs is basically 3D printing labs or design labs. So every innovation lab or every Atal Tinkering Lab will have one 3D printer. So, just to say revenue wise, every lab will have at least a revenue of 50,000 to 1 lakh in a 3D printing contribution.
Wow. And
so how
50,000
big the
labs are
market
coming.
will become when we talk about 50,000 schools, each school giving you 50,000 to 1 lakh revenue, which will make the industry itself bigger.
Yeah.
Secondly, the government in the budget has also come up with skill development.
Hmm.
If you see government is putting money for ITI, they are saying that we want the institutional, places where all these ITIs will, in the technical schools, they will basically have innovation labs, which will cater to all the local engineering colleges. So these ITIs also have 3D printers as a concept.
Yeah.
So there also government is putting funding to say create ITIs not only for school education. For school education, we have Atal Tinkering Labs. For your graduation, you should have skill development in the ITIs. So they are putting money in the ITIs. And then what government has third thing is doing, they are creating one more budget for manufacturing. Where after your graduation, if you are going for manufacturing, you have 3D printing tech which you can use for manufacturing. So government is not only investing in
So the market in India is very underpenetrated. So that
Yes.
opens a lot of opportunities
for
for
the
you.
first mover advantage.
How do you expand in this industry? Like in filaments, in printers, how do you expand?
So in this industry, what I feel is that we will be expanding not only in the hardware segment, we also will be expanding in making end products to the technology itself.
Okay.
Like I said, like in China, I'll give you an example. Suppose you see this, this is a snake, but in China they sometimes they make same concept of snake or a dragon. This entire product is single piece. I've not done any assembly, nothing. It's just a single piece out of the machine. So any mold or any manufacturing machine cannot create a single piece like this.
Oh.
So imagine something like this if I create, what is the manufacturing setup that I can do? So you can feel it.
No, I'm very scared of the snakes.
That's a 3D printer, don't worry. So yeah, I mean you can create an end product like this.
Wow.
So this caters to your applications of growth of the industry also.
So now the most basic question, I don't come from tech background. I have zero knowledge how science, how tech works. Like I barely passed in exams, to be honest. How does 3D printing actually work?
Okay. So just to give you like you, I'm also not a techie. I come from a very different background of business and from doing an MBA in marketing finance. But I feel technology is something that if you make it easy, it becomes more acceptance. So hence we made it 3D printing to feel is very easy. So what is 3D printing is when a question people ask me, I always compare 3D printing to like making a tall building.
Okay.
Suppose you are constructing a building. What happens is as a normal user, when you see a building getting constructed, you can see every floor of a building. Right? So every floor is made, you say this floor is 11 feet. So 11 feet ka one floor, 11 feet two floor, 11 feet three floor. So you can say this building has 10 floors. That means 11 feet ke 10 floors is 110 feet is my length of the building, height of the building. Similarly in 3D printing, we call it layers. So layers means same like a floor, but in 3D printing, the layer is 0.2 mm.
Okay.
So you cannot see it. Okay. But suppose if I want to make a product like this. So this is consider this as itself as a building. These flows you cannot see. But what the printer does it, a printer will print first layer, which will be 0.2 mm. Second layer, 0.2 mm. Third layer, 0.2 mm. So this product may have 600 layers. So it is called additive manufacturing.
Okay. So is there an algo that is fed into the machine?
Yeah.
And machine just follows it?
So I'll tell you what happens in this. Now, when I say about layer printing and why additive also, you see the gaps in this?
Yeah.
So that means in additive manufacturing, only what I want to be printed will be printed. If there is a hole in the design, there will be hole in the actual product. There is no wastage. So it becomes a very sustainable technology. Why today the world is saying use 3D printing is because it is a sustainable technology. It reduces your global warming. It reduces your inventory cost. It increases warehousing. All these are the saving that happens when you use 3D printing.
Okay.
So when I make a product like this, like a 3D printing, layer by layer is what is being made. So it becomes very easy to manufacture. So 3D printer is additive manufacturing.
Got it. Understood, sir.
So it is as simple as making a building. Only when I'm making a building, you see it. A 3D printing is something you're not able to see.
Okay.
Because the layers are very fine.
So do you think this field is male oriented?
So no, I don't think the field is male oriented. Why I'm saying is because I've seen a lot of women designers who are using 3D printing technology to create jewelry, create end products, create fashion products. Also, I feel government is also focusing on women empowerment. So one of the application for 3D printing is women empowerment,
Okay.
where where the government is giving a budget of 5 lakh rupees for the women to start a business. They are investing in 3D printing as a business category, where they make a small 3D printing farm which may have about 5 printers, and they start manufacturing smaller products which can be sold as an end product. End product, when I say, every industry you can make end products, like you can make the lampshades for the lighting industry, you can make things like, wall decor, you can make things like planters, you can make things like toys, you can make there are various number of options, and there are more than 1 lakh free files available online, which you can just download and 3D print it. So there are various things that you can just download and print. And when you asked me that, as a lame person, how do I use 3D printing, right? So this is what the explanation of a 3D printer is. But what happens when you want to print something? We need a computer aided design. That's a CAD file. CAD is basically a 3D model seen on the computer. So a designer can either make the model with some softwares like SolidWorks or Tinkercad or some design softwares, or a person can download the file from Google through various free online websites. Once you have the CAD file, the computer aided design, that you put in the 3D printer software. Like an example, when you do a paper printing, in paper printing you use Corel Draw, you do use PDF, right? When you go for Control P option, it goes to the printing page. You get a automatically pop up of a printer app where it says, do you want to print on an A4, or do you want the same file to be printed in 4, like you want the same to be in the 4 format in one A4? Do you want to print back and front? You have all those options. Similarly, we have a software of a 3D printer which we call it a slicing software.
Okay.
So in that software, you can decide, you put your file in that, you can decide, do my floor become 0.2 mm or do I want my floor to be 2 mm?
Okay.
So like in construction, do I need my floor to be 10 feet or I want my floor to be 12 feet?
Got it.
Secondly, in that software, I can decide, do I need to print faster? Do I need to print slower?
Got it.
I can also decide on a printer, we call a bed, where it is being made. In the bed, where do you want the product to be placed? So all that comes in the slicing software. So it becomes very easy for anybody to 3D print.
Okay.
And all this may look like, oh, this is rocket science, but I believe anybody can use a 3D printer. It is so easy to use. I have kids of 8 years, 9 years who are 3D printing, and they have started business of themselves. So they are making cars and selling to their friends as toys. So I mean, there is no limitations to Indians to find opportunities.
Yes. So you went to Shark Tank India, took the funding, and then you made your IPO debut on the exchanges, right? Why did you not go to a VC or PE for further funding? Why IPO?
So what I felt is that, as being an industry leader, I feel you should always make a mark for yourself, whatever you are doing. I thought if I go through the PE mode or through the VC mode, I may just be a company known to a smaller circle of people, and I'll never be able to come in the public that this technology has come to India. So hence we selected IPO as a mode. Also, what I feel with the IPO, the kind of brand visibility that you get, also the credibility that you create in the market, that wow, this company is listed, there's a lot of backing why they are here today. Also internationally, all these companies whom we are working with, whom we are the partners for India, they are in the process of getting listed. So for them, we become a very big partner because they feel we have already listed before them. So there was a very credibility game, and also a lot of strategy that we went into. That IPO is a better mode in India, and also sometimes I feel it's about grabbing the opportunity. When the market is giving you money, take it. That's what I always believed in. So SME में market है, आपके पास अच्छा business model है, you have profitability, your growth in the next 10 years is very great. So why not take this mode instead of being in a smaller circle? So hence IPO was the thought, and it just happened, I think.
So coming to the last question, what is your vision for the company? Where do we see this Wol3D India Limited going, let's say 10 years down the lane?
For 10 years from now, what I look at is that, we have a brand tagline that says layers to legacy. So the idea behind the tagline was, how can 3D printing, that is layers, creates legacy for yourself? Legacy for me, legacy for my customers, or legacy to my users. That means how 3D printing can be used in various industries to create patents, create end products, and how can you make it bigger business.
Hmm.
In order to meet that tagline, in order to meet the dream of every 3D printer at every home, we are making sure that our product is available across channels. So we sell online, we sell offline. We are there already on famous e-commerce websites. We have our own e-commerce website also. We are selling through distribution networks, own experience centers. So our dream is to have a 3D printer in every home. Hence, we are increasing the number of experience centers. The future comes in where we basically have more than 36 offices. Every state will have one experience center to cater to the state, because I feel India is like 36 countries in itself. Every state has its own story, own language, own culture. So if you have a local experience center, I mean, it just becomes easy for revenue building. And I also see that as a company, we are not just a 3D printing company. I think we are more of a STEM education company,
Okay.
where STEM is basically anything that's related to science, technology, engineering, math. So we, as the company is growing, we may, enter industries like robotics, which can be
Okay.
more user friendly, get into the toy industry. There are areas like 3D printing in general. We also doing laser engravers, so increase our product portfolio in that. We also, get into areas like large retail formats where, we come up in stores. Like as a consumer, you go to a Chroma. What if tomorrow in Chroma you see a 3D printer? Imagine the experience, right? So that means the technology has penetrated so high that now even these large retail formats have product. So
So,
I
sir,
feel it's important to be in every space, is what we see in the next 10 years, that people will buy just for home use.
So, sir, as you grow, so it'll be more feasible for you to open more experience centers, and there'll be economies of scale for you, right? So, can we see the margins improving from now?
So obviously, as becomes your economy of scales increases, as your procurement is better, your margins increases. But as you increase the number of stores, your also fixed cost is higher. Also, your working capital is used more. So it may be a equal part of increased revenue with increased cost. But overall margins, I think it should be maintained, or it will be higher in the time coming in.
PAT as well as
PAT
EBITDA
well
margin.
as well as EBITDA, and also as a brand, we are also focusing on promoting the technology a lot. So we are investing in exhibitions. We do about 13 to 20 exhibitions in 1 year,
Okay.
to making sure that we go to the doorstep of the clients. We go to the doorstep of various industries to tell them how the application is. So these things will also increase the revenue. Automatically, we also plan to increase the prototyping and product design business. That itself has very higher margins. So that will also increase the EBITDA and the PAT of the company.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. It was a valuable session. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Yeah.